Okay, March. So Jupiter in Revati. Revati is the last of the nakshatras before it's the final one of Pisces. Okay, so it does sometimes use the symbolism of fish. It's very much seen as a wealthy, generous, altruistic energy. And people will usually talk about it, and it's quite genial. Okay, so it's nice, pleasant energy. Revati are nice people. It is spiritual, but it's not denoted. It is lining up for moksha, because the thing is that if we're a nice person, we're generous, we're wealthy in the right way, we will reach liberation in this life. It's about getting our generosity and our altruism and our benevolence in shape. So it does have a connection with liberation from samsara, but it also has a function of being connected to, a little bit like what we've done with this galactic spin. It's like understanding what seeds we've got from our journey around the last zodiac to pay into the next cycle. Okay, so Revati has also got this wealth to pay it into the next cycle. And it's going to be paying that into Jupiter coming into Aquarius. Okay, so it's quite a nice, expansive energy that Jupiter's in. It's benevolent. And Jupiter's at home. Jupiter's sitting in Pisces at the moment, so it's comfortable. It's in a very spiritual placement, so that's nice. Okay, and we've then got we've got just after that, Jupiter's going to be in Revati for a while, but on the 1st of March, we've got the hand wave spell. And the hand, it can be about things like doing Reiki, things like that. It can be creative work. It can be about using mudra. It's also got a sense of knowingness to it. And I really see it as a sign that's very much connected to doing divination and understanding how divination works. So this is a really good time. You've maybe received some signs and insights from the universe to do your divination on it, or get somebody to do divination for you. See, is there a way you do divination, or does somebody do cards for you, or do you want an astrology reading or whatever? And this is a good time to go into that, to get that sense of knowing that's going to start to embody. It's going to then start to get the hands coming to work in however that might be, to start to create something. There is now a physical legacy that's starting to activate once we get that knowing. It's like we've been in this kind of multi-dimensional information gathering phase, and then now it's kind of coming into form where we are, and now I know what I'm going to do. I've got my seeds of truth. I get it, right? And in the traditional Mayan calendar, we're in the equivalent of the star Trisena, which is this nice light energy in that system, which also has to understand the darkness as well. But again, it's still about finding the elegant flow, okay? Still not rushing ahead and being crazy. Okay, then on the 14th of March, we come into the sun wave spell. And a few days later, we come into Emosh, which is the equivalent of the dragon, the serpent, or the water lily in the traditional Mayan calendar. And we also have Saturn coming to Shata Bishak. So we've got a whole new energy. Saturn's coming into a new nakshatra, and I'm going to talk about Shata Bishak. And Sun is a lot more sociable, okay? And we're coming close to equinox. And in people in the global north, there's that feeling that spring is somewhat starting, even though usually it's still snowing and things like that. But Sun is a lot more about interaction with community, connecting to the higher self, illuminating things, activating things, okay, in that way. Sun has to be careful of ego, and it also sometimes burns or wants to be too dominant in a scenario, but it's still, it's starting to crank up in terms of the energetics of these signs. You know, you have solar energy and you have gestational energy coming together, okay? And Saturn's coming into Shata Bishak. Now, Shata Bishak's an interesting energy. It's known as the 100th physician or the 100 stars. And it is a lot of people with Shata Bishak energy work with healing. It has a little bit of hermit energy, okay? But it also, Dr. Arjun Pai, who's a prominent Vedic astrologer, says that it's also called the 100 Avaduts. And Avaduts are actually unorthodox, Siddhic beings who bring through codes to help us to come to a higher timeline. And the other duty is the central channel. So it's like utilizing Kundalini energy and metaphysical knowledge to help things to grow. And it's also a lot of good astrologers have Shatabishak energy. And I actually have my moon in Shatabishak, which is my dominant thing, my dominant nakshatra. So what I sense is this really nice window of time. And this is why we're going to be running our non-dual astrology symposium during Shatabishak, is to help people to grasp how to work with the celestial bodies. There's a window to be really connected to the stars and healing. And not only that, but you've got this activation of Shatabishak and this light worker and healing energy. You've got also got this speedy Ashwini energy sitting with Rahu and then with Jupiter and Rahu. So we've got a lot saying that there's this novel ideas, new ways of healing, these Aquarian novel ways. I know so many of us have thought we're going to work with all these quantum things. It's got to be a whole new way of working. We're going to see and we're going to be working in this multidimensional way. It's on, okay? And so we're really going to start getting these growth spurts of it, okay? Then we have equinox on the 20th. And then in tropical astrology, Pluto comes into Aquarius. So boom, big change comes. So look at how lined up that is with equinox. Look at all this crescendo in energies that's coming. And then truly we're birthing more in a more tangible physical material way from equinox. So it's just really good for you to be able to know, like, okay, I've got this timeline to work on things. We then have 27th, we have Skywalker wave spell. And I find Skywalker wave spell, I mean, Skywalker's, it's very rigid energy. So sometimes it can be quite rigid and a bit control freaky, but it also it's really good for harnessing things that have been out in the ether, bringing them onto paper. So often I have times where people say, oh, can you tell me how much I owe for this thing? And I'm like, I don't do numbers today. And in Skywalker time, I can write out all my projects really neat and it just flows. I'm very structured. So I find it a very good time for the kind of project management on paper of my work, okay? And I find I'm usually really prolific. And often we'll do quite a lot of our organizational paperwork, stuff like that in Skywalker, and it just flows. Things that we cannot even think about is totally logical and easy during Skywalker. So that could be a really good time for you to get things lined up in that way, okay? And that's coming into Ish Trasena, which is coming back to wizard energy. It's still be receptive, still don't be pushy, and still connect through, still do purification, still keep yourself anchored, okay? So this very much is the real new year. And some of these energies, as I say, divination, creativity, inner knowing and activating, a little bit astrological, still a little bit hermit, but these light worker insights will increase. There's a big lift off with this Pluto energy, big sort of energetics changing, and a more social energy, but we still need to get things in order, find our structure in order, and get a really good work-life balance and nature work balance. And then job's probably a good one, okay?